We are live. Live.
Beautiful voice. I have a beautiful voice. This delay is killing me. I keep forgetting
Lightning crashes and we are still live.
I knew Frank is late. It's a Tuesday, so of course Frank is late.
And it's too late for Frank to apologize. It's too late.
So Frank's not here. Fuck it, let's go. Should I just start with the theme song? Yes? Okay, I'm just going to do it. No audio. All right, here we go.
You're traveling through another dimension, a dimension not only of sight and sound, but of mind. That's the signpost up ahead. Stop. Our territory.
I know she's not deaf or dumb or retarded or anything.
Bordering in Wonderland, the Twilight Zone review.
Hello, citizens. Welcome to LIW, the Twilight Zone review, live from YouTube. There's our crowd.
Hi, everybody.
For episode 512, 90 Years Without Slumbering. And it's our countdown of the last 25 episodes we have to do for the original show. So that's exciting. I'm Phoenix West.
And I'm Ann Wilcox.
And I'm Frank Lynx. I'm fucking late, as always. My life's chaos. I'm going to have some stupid excuse in about 20 minutes when I chime in. Anyway, that's Frank. Adam, we have a double bill today for our live YouTube audience of 512, 90 Years Without Slumbering, and 513, Ring-a-Ding Girl. I just want to say, today was a miserable experience watching the Twilight Zone. It was awful. I hated every second of it.
I watched them last night. I'm like, okay, well, one thing I've noticed, we're kind of on a beat. When we don't like the episode, we ramble like fucking crazy people. And so there's going to be some ranting going on.
I didn't realize the last episode that we did. All of a sudden, we're like, oh, God, we're at 2 hours. Oh, God.
Oh, that fucking stream went on for three some hours. That was a bitch to cut up. For some reason, my editing software, when the video gets to a certain length and I start chopping it, it doesn't want to cooperate with me. So it's like it makes me like break it up into segments. I bet you will. Oh, that's right. You deep throat that empty bottle.
All the way to the base. I will talk about anything over this episode.
Yeah.
So, 90 Years Without Slumbering. It's our return to Ed Wynn, who was in the second episode of Twilight Zone, One for the Angels. And apparently every episode they have that guy in has to be about how old he is and how close to death he is, because that's all that episode's about. That's all this episode's about.
Don't you love how character actors in the 60s, when they were old guys, like every show they're on, that's pretty much the entirety of their character is, I'm an old guy and I'm quirky. Yeah.
It's either I don't want to die, like that episode of Twilight Zone, or what's that episode called? Nothing in the Dark, or death's nothing to worry about, like The Hunt. There's an episode of The Hunt where the guy's not really worried about it. And in fact, he finds out he's dead and he's like, I don't give a shit.
I've come to the conclusion that Rod Serling is just like completely disgusted by old age. Like he's just repulsed by it.
Well, if that's the case, and that is true, if that is the reality, luckily he never got there.
Yeah. He's supposed probably by design. Yeah.
When we think about it, but also you smoke 4 packs a day.
Yeah.
I mean, kind of, it's like loading a bullet very slowly at that point. Isn't it? Oh, one more thing I want to mention before we really get into the episode. And Frank's not here to give me his stupid theories about some other show that he listens to. Is CBS All Access and IMDb have updated Twilight Zone 2019 to show that season 2 debuts June 25th. So in a little over a month here, we have season 2 to talk about. Did you watch all of season 1?
No, I didn't watch any of them.
You have no right to jerk off an air dick and fling its air sperm at me on camera. It is awful.
No.
Fucking
You're that way. I was flinging it this way. It's different.
I don't know where it went. It's
flinging it
invisible.
more
I
towards
imagine-
Robbie the robot. Yeah.
I imagine it like a Nickelodeon gag, like and sliming down it like Tales from the Crypt.
Well, whatever you do, don't say the words "I don't know," and then you'll find out.
Oh God, that's a terrifying mix-up.
That's a horrible deep cut.
Sperm and I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh God,
It's slime. Oh, it's not green. Oh no.
slime. This is gross. Why do you have so much of it? Oh God, it's Mark Summers back there. That's what he does between shows.
Oh no, it's old man jizz.
Anyway, so 90 years lost slumbering. My first note for this episode is, oh, this set again. It's the same set we've seen 1,000 times. In fact, it's so common we see it in the very next episode. Ring-a-ding girl.
Oh, yeah, it was, wasn't it? I thought so.
The exact same stairway, which is fine, but revamp the set a little bit between shows. It's
I guess they did, but not really, you know.
They expanded the living room a bit, but really they're just like, all right, cut. All right, move that wall over. All right, start ring-a-ding girl. Go.
Yeah.
Seconds later.
Like they probably had all of the actors on the set at the same time. They're like, bring in the stunt cocks.
It's like we did today, how we're doing 2 back-to-back Twilight Zones. It's like that's how they recorded them.
That's what we call maximum recording efficiency.
And they're both very claustrophobic bottle episodes where it's just, you're stuck in this fucking set. And good luck breaking loose. Because, I mean, ring-a-ding, she goes out a couple times, thank God. But in this, we leave the house, once to go to a psychiatrist, and that's it. That's it. We go to his sad, depressing old man dying room, and that's it. It's a fucking nightmare. This episode's terrible. I hate this episode. I gave it a 4.
I didn't really even think about a score yet. I'm going to have to wait till the end of this to even give it a score. But all I want to say about this whole season, though, is, well, for one, you're absolutely right about season 5. It's an absolute slog to get through. But season 5 feels like a couple of stoners sitting in a, tent somewhere, fucking, sandbagging it or fucking clam baking it or whatever the fuck they call it. And one of them hits a bong and they're like, dude, you know what would make a really good Twilight Zone? Get this shit.
What's that, man?
A grandfather fucking winding his grandfather clock. Oh yeah, man, write that shit down.
And we're like, what if the clock is the old man?
Oh, whoa!
Oh,
and then you got Rod Serling saying, "The clock is the old man." Whoa!
No, it's not my mom. It's the neighbor. No, yeah, it's awesome, man. I'm like, what if this girl had a ring and it was like talking to her, man? Dave's not here, man. But the ring's like, oh, come back home. Oh, man. Hey, back to Doritos.
Oh, God.
Yeah. This episode is, you start to realize the 60s are creeping into the show in Ring-a-Ding Girl. This episode, not so much. It still feels a little old-timey, especially the couple. But the next episode is very, like, 60s, like, swinging, like, I'm from Hollywood.
And why does Rod Serling feel the need to explain the entire synopsis of the show before we watch it?
It worked when he was like waxing poetic about
kind of tap dancing around it. Yeah, just being a little vague.
Going, this man's fixing a clock and it matters, so pay attention.
Pretty much. Yeah. Like very little prose, mostly exposition saying this is what's going to happen in this episode. It's like, oh, fuck. Thanks, Rod. Wow, I'm really blown away by this plot now. That's like 3 or 4 in a row where he's done that in this season. Just completely tells you what you're going to watch and leaves nothing to the imagination.
Let me try to find his intro here. It should come shortly after this pathetic conversation. Let's set up what happens before Rod comes in here, though. Let's find Rod. Oh, here we go. All right, so Edwin is an old man. He's 76, right? And he's fixing his grandfather clock and singing a song to the fucking grandfather clock like it's a Disney movie.
I immediately hated it right at the song. I'm like, oh no. Oh.
We see some annoying couple. He's sitting in a chair, and she walks up to him, and she looks like, I don't know what the fuck's wrong with her. I'm like, is she okay? She looks like, oh. And he's like, dude, we got to deal with that old man up there. What the fuck's wrong with him? We have to deal with this like head on. And she's like, but, and then we find out she's pregnant later. But I guess that was her pregnancy face, whatever the fuck that was.
It might have been nice if they would have told us that, because the whole time I'm thinking, is the old man bothering you? Is he pissing in your dinner? You know,
it's like they're acting like he's a Nazi and he's working on his Nazi stuff upstairs.
Well, I mean, he was singing to his clock like it was like a romantic interest or something. It really was, you know, it was like the old guy from fucking Poltergeist 2. God is in his holy temple.
What's the over-under on this guy fucking that clock?
Oh, he's giving it the fucking business, dude. He's cleaning it up so he can get dirty with
it as it swings back and forth.
Because they literally say, like, you're up all night sometimes. And I'm like, yeah, we know what he's doing. He's banging that fucking clock like there's no tomorrow.
I'm a grandfather. You're a grandfather. It's so poetic. You get it? You get what they're trying to say? Oh, you're me. Oh, it's just masturbation at this point. I can fuck a clock. No big deal.
I mean, it'd be funnier if he was singing Time Is On My Side, but I don't know if that song was out yet by the time that episode was filmed.
Let's see what Rod has to say about it. And it's going to play a couple seconds of the clip here. And you hear Ed win, and the clock starts going. He shuts it, and then he like does a weird point at it in a second.
Each man measures his time, some with hope, some with way, some with fear. But some force measures his allotted time with a grandfather's clock, a unique mechanism whose pendulum swings between life and death. A very special clock keeps a special kind of time in the twilight zone.
Or whatever, you know. We get it. Ed wins a grandfather. And the clock is a grandfather clock.
Whoa, dude. Oh, whoa.
That's pretty good, man. Oh, you should write that down. I don't have any pencils. Let's get some rolling paper.
This story's great, man. It's the greatest story I ever heard. Oh, fuck.
I just don't get the point of the episode. There's an episode called Perchance to Dream in like season 1, I want to say. That's much better than this episode, and that episode wasn't that great to begin with. So it's just,
you know, when I was trying to remember the title for this one, I did a search, and that one came up, and I'm like, oh, well, see, this one sounds like a better episode, and I'm sure I would have enjoyed that more than this one. But yeah.
Plus, that episode gives Frank a hard on because it has a cat lady in it, and apparently he's into that shit.
Doesn't really take much, does it? He's
No.
worse than me. Like I have a thing for boobs, but I think Frank takes it a lot deeper than I do.
You just admitted something there. I don't know if you want to admit to.
Oh yeah,
Frank takes it a lot deeper than you do.
oh shit.
Yeah.
Freudian slip.
Yeah. All right. I mean, whatever. He's not here to defend himself, or in this case, take credit.
That's true.
So.
Yeah, he takes it a little bit more seriously than I do.
I
Poor choice of words.
It's all right. He knows. He also takes it deep in a Holiday Inn. Go back and listen to some old episodes to get that reference. I don't know if that was this show or the podcast, but it's in there somewhere.
It's too much
Candy
work.
now.
It's too much work.
I tell you, but it's more fun to just reference it.
Yeah.
She comes up. Oh, okay. So there's a couple. They're boring as shit. There's the husband, and then there's the wife. The wife is preggers. She seems like she's fairly newly preggers. It's her grandfather is Ed Wynn, who's fucking the clock. And then she comes upstairs and talks to him in his bedroom, and he's sitting there. He has a clock in his room, and she has a line where he's like trying to fix it, and she goes, "Don't waste your eyesight, Grandpa."
That was weird.
And I was like, "Do you have like a finite amount of eyesight in a life?"
Does it have a meter? Yeah.
Yeah. It's like Electro in that shitty Spider-Man sequel.
Yeah,
where he has like a battery thing in the side of his head.
Yeah, it's like one of those fucking batteries where you used to push your thumb on it, and then it would show you like how much battery life is left in it. Yeah.
But like, if the more you keep your eyes open, the less you can use them later. Or like people think that's how sperm works. Like the more you masturbate, the less sperm you'll have. Like what?
She's probably one of those bitches that thinks she can get rid of a toothache by crushing up aspirin and putting it on there. You know, like just.
Or she thinks if you go outside without a coat, you get sick immediately.
I think everybody did back then. That's why they're always wearing hats and shit.
Yeah, it doesn't work that way. Science hasn't caught up yet, but
couldn't go outside without your hat.
He's not staring at the sun. That'd be different. If he's just staring at that big yellow sumbitch, she'd have a valid point at that point, you know.
I think even that would be more productive than banging a grandfather clock, though. I'm just thinking, you know, at least you're getting sun, you're getting some sunshine, you're getting yourself some skin cancer, so at least you have something, you know, intelligent to die of, other than just senility of banging a grandfather clock in your granddaughter's house while they're awake.
The clock is hung. That clock is hung.
Yeah, it's got a mighty big dong on it. Yeah,
when he watches it. So, okay, we'll skip around. He mentions at one point that the grandfather clock doesn't work unless you wind it every other day. And I was like, I would rather be dead than wind this son of a bitch every other day. It looks like a lot of fucking work. Rather just die. Fuck it. Right?
There's a character from that movie Hellboy that he has to wind. He's got like some kind of this little fucking clock thing where his heart's supposed to be, and he has to wind it. But I don't think he has to wind it every other day. But that's more interesting than this fucking episode. He has to actually wind his heart.
Fucking Crank 2 High Voltage is more interesting than this. He has to shock it every
Crank is amazing. Those fucking movies are great.
But you don't think it's high art, but Twilight is not regarded as high art.
They're entertaining.
Like this, where you're like, oh, it's not. It's really not. It's a handful of episodes in the middle of a fairly shitty season.
Oh yeah.
I never thought I'd say season 5 is worse than season 4. I mean, I did last week, but it's really fucking becoming like very apparent that season 5 is just god awful.
We're looking for things to like.
Yeah,
we really are.
So much so that I found a scene in the next episode, Ring a Ding Girl, and I went, "Oh, I like that scene." That was it. That's all I got. And I was like, "Oh, I got half chub just thinking about one scene." And then I was like, "Oh, at least there's episodes in season 4 I really enjoyed."
It makes us miss the Robbie episode.
See, that had stuff I liked in it, but the episode sucks.
Yeah. But at least we had the old guy with all of his snappy insults. You know, that old guy was way cooler than this old guy. This old guy is just, hey, I'm old. I'm quirky because I'm old. And everything's funny because I'm old. Oh, look at the old guy. It's like, you know, old age is kind of a regular thing. It's not some Nubian concept. You know, I mean, it's... Fuck that. I hate character actors that are just old just to be old. You know, I mean, even William Hickey was an interesting old guy. He wasn't just like token old guy. He was like funny in everything that he was in, you know?
Yeah, and this is coming from Ed Wynn. Like the guy is the Mad Hatter in Alice in Wonderland, which is very fitting for, you know, my Lord in Wonderland. The guy's the voice. He's the voice, and he has nothing to do here. Just nothing.
No, this reeks of cameo of the week.
And at least in One for the Angels, it was at least a sweet episode where you could tell. I mean, he felt like a pedophile in my mind, but in reality, he wasn't. But at least it was a sweet episode with a moral and a lesson, and it felt like it wasn't a waste of your time. This episode, I was at the end of it, I was like, all right, let's forget about that. Oh, I have to talk about it for an hour. Oh, god damn it!
Stay awake.
I love the fact that when I just played Rod's clip, it also, because I have the video up. It also played the whip pan over the rod. And what I did was, I try to do it sometimes, but I forget. But this time, I went frame by frame. And you get some great stuff in this whip pan, by the way. So if you're on Blu-ray, go ahead and just do a frame by frame, because you'll see it's on him looking at the clock, and he points at it. He looks like he's pointing at Rod, like, you take it over now. And the camera whips around. And there's two that they splice together, you know. There's two whip pans. His whip pan ends on a light. So you see his studio light, or it's the beginning of the next one. You can't tell. But then if you freeze frame, you'll see just a guy, like one of the production assistants is standing there. Like you can't really make out his face, but it's clearly a dude just staring at the camera. It is so bizarre that they didn't cut that out or cut the black or something.
So you have to fuck with the episode on your Blu-ray to have fun with this episode.
Yeah, I had to. I had to. There's no other way to enjoy this episode. It's
No.
not one episode. It's not clever. By the time it ends, you're not like, what? You're just kind of like, ah, that was 22 minutes. Okay, well, what am I going to do now? Oh, I guess I'll watch Ring a Ding Girl. Great. That's my prize for finishing this episode. There's a reason they put the original DVD releases were random episodes from all over the seasons. Because when you watch it, this is my first time watching it through the seasons. And I'm realizing all the garbage is at last. So I really think this show went on about a season and a half too long.
Yeah, that's a fair assessment, especially since older TV shows had more episodes. It could have stopped after 4, and we probably would have been a lot better off. If I had to equate what the fuck's this called, 90 years without slumbering, 90 years without slumbering to a soup, it would be unsalted beef broth. That's what the fuck this episode is. It's an unsalted beef broth. It's not good for anything. Maybe you can make something else better out of it if you add things to it, but you're not going to just sit there and eat it with a spoon like, oh, this is the best unsalted beef broth I've ever had. Wow.
No, there's nothing to enjoy. And how many episodes have I said that about recently? And I feel like I'm repeating myself, so I'm trying to think of something else to talk about. But his wife talks to him again. Is like, you're obsessed with that clock. I mean, quit fucking it. What's wrong with you? We thought you should talk to a friend of ours. And he's like, oh, the psychiatrist? I don't want to talk to the psychiatrist. You're going to take me to the loony bin. And apparently that's what psychiatrists mean, is loony bin. Yeah. That was their view on psychiatry back in the day.
That was your next phase to going into the loony bin.
Yeah. Or not even next phase. It's the same thing as far as they're concerned back then. You might as well be in the loony bin if you're going to talk to someone about how you're thinking or feeling. Because then he goes, and it's a doctor who seems very impatient with being a psychiatrist already.
Yeah.
And he's kind of like, it feels like he's trying to trick him into saying things. And you're kind of like, well, what's the ultimate goal here? What's the plan?
He wanted to be a lumberjack or a lion tamer, and he got stuck with psychiatrist. That was just, what was given to him. He clearly does not care about what he does, nor his patients, nor why he's there.
They talk about his clock, and then they talk about the doctor's clock. I am saying the word clock with an L, by the way.
Yeah.
So
it just turns into clock porn. Yeah.
He pulls out his grandfather clock, and he sucks. Oh, sorry. They talk about his clock, the psychiatrist's clock. And he's like, wait a minute, we're talking about your clock. He's like, what's wrong with talking about your clock? He's like, oh, we're here to talk about you. And he's like, I could talk about clocks all day. I'll take a hot, steamy clock in my mouth. That's no big deal. And the doctor's like, dude, what? And he's like, if that clock dies, I die. And he's like, oh, that's crazy talk. He says it after the meeting's over. So they're like, let's get out of here. Oh,
he waits a really long time to reveal that to people that the clock is going to die. He's going to die if he doesn't wind that fucking clock.
Yeah, it's really burying the lead. Like, oh, thank you so much, psychiatrist. I'm glad you gave me a clean bill of health. By the way, I am the voice of my own God, and I murdered all my children at home. Anyway, I'm gonna head out of here. So doctor's like, wait, go back 15 seconds. What? Probably should have brought it up at the beginning. But he's like, oh, the clock dies, I die, because I got the clock the day I was born. Who gives a fucking newborn baby a giant grandfather clock? What a weird gift.
Some asshole father. Doesn't he come from a long line of like clockmakers or some shit like that too? I think they kind of alluded to that, which they don't really make a big deal out of. And I kind of wish maybe they would have elaborated just a little bit more on that and less on his granddaughter having a kid. I think they kind of stretched that out a little too far.
Yeah, they focus on all these areas that don't matter or don't add up, because he has a clock. His dad had a clock. His dad lived to 90. He's 76, and he thinks if the clock dies, he dies. Then the psychiatrist is like, you should give that clock away, dude. And he's like, okay, I'll think about it. And he goes home, and I thought he was going to ignore it. But immediately they cut to him at home, and two dudes are just bringing the clock downstairs. and banging it around. And he's like, "Hey, young fellow," the guy's 53. "Hey, young fellow, don't fucking bang the clock around." And they bring it downstairs. He sounds like an Adam Sandler character.
Yeah, he is.
When I do it. Then they bring the clock down, and it stops for a second, and he's like, "Oh, ah," and falls on the stairs. Like, it reminded me of Paul Rubens and Buffy the Vampire Slayer in the movie. Do you remember that?
No, I never saw that one.
It's a good movie. But when he gets stabbed, he's a vampire, and he gets stabbed in the chest, and he's like, it takes forever to die. And he's like, "Oh, ah, ee, oh," and he's like kicking the wall. It's fucking hilarious. But he reminded me of that, where he's like slowly milking it, and he falls down, and it starts back up, and then he's just like, "Oh, anyway, my clock." What? Oh, okay.
Again, which brings me back to the sense of purpose. Like, okay, if he's 76 years old, he's obviously not working anymore. He's probably not going out and painting the town at night. He's obviously not married because there's no wife to speak of in this episode. So if the clock, as weird as it may be, gives him some sense of purpose, how is he bothering anyone? That's why this episode ceases to make sense. It's like everybody's so concerned about how this old fucker weirds out with his clock, as disgusting as it may be to you and I, it still gives him something to do. He's not out molesting children. He's not out, flashing people in public. I mean, he's upstairs in the privacy of his own room, making love to his grandfather clock. Leave him the fuck alone. Let him do his thing. He's not going to live forever anyway. And that's the other ongoing theme of this episode. Why is everybody in a hurry to kill this fucker off? Like you need to stop doing things that give you meaning and purpose and hurry up and die, you old fuck. Is that
seems to be like, "Honey, can you go upstairs and like kill his joy?"
Yeah, just take away his spirits.
Big old box and just burn it. You're right. I don't know why they fucking care. I guess it's because he stays up all night because he has insomnia, just like his dad. And
banging that fucking clock all night long.
Yeah, a clock can bang all night long, Adam. I don't know if you ever spent the night with a clock, a grandfather clock.
Never will either.
They can fucking go. Probably because they're inanimate and they can just sit there and take it all. And don't have the wherewithal to say, "All right, dude, chafing, no more." They just keep going.
As we speak, there's probably a channel on the hubs for grandfathers and their grandfather clocks.
Grandfather clock cock.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Sexy.
It's happening. It is. But nevertheless, everybody wants him to part ways with this clock because the show has to happen. I guess.
Yeah. It's how many episodes in a row have I just been like, words have failed me?
Why?
How many can we do where I just don't know what to say? So let's fuck it. Let's keep going.
This many?
Yeah.
Lost track.
I mean, we're on 512, so I'd say 9 episodes. Yeah. Steel was okay.
Yeah.
It was an okay episode. It wasn't boring. I didn't really appreciate it that much, but In Praise of Pip was good. End of list, right? Is that it?
That's pretty much it. Yeah.
Okay.
That's it.
So then, what I was thinking is, if he's upstairs or he has a clock in the house and he turns it every 2 days, if he keeps this going, due to his theory, is this guy immortal? If they keep turning this thing, it seems like he'd live forever based on his math, right?
I mean,
or he gets so old he can't turn it anymore, and if nobody else does, he dies.
It's, I don't know. I mean, I'm not 76, so I'm not really thinking about these kind of things, but I would just seem to think that once I start getting over that 75-mile marker there, that I would probably give less of a shit a little bit more each day, just based on my interactions with elderly people that I've known over the years. I don't see anybody being protective of their grandfather clock. I mean, they obviously do things to try to extend life. I mean, everybody wants more of it.
I don't.
Except the dumb kids that live in his house that are related to him don't want him to have more of it or think he's crazy because he's obsessed with his clock. And I'm like, if that clock makes him think he's going to live forever, leave him the fuck alone. As long as he's not bothering you, whatever he does in the privacy of his own room with that hideous fucking clock should be his own business.
Yeah, the dad seems to actively hate this guy for some reason. Something happened between these two. Or he's just like, I can't deal with that voice anymore. Let the fucking clock die.
I think it's penis envy. I think he's jealous of that mammoth clock, and he wishes
swinging around his room, just
yeah, straight up jealousy.
Or the husband's easily hypnotized, and every time he's like, "Hey, Grandpa, can you oh shit, I'll do whatever you say next," and he just like stares at the. I don't know what the fuck his problem is. Why they seem like the most divorcing couple I've ever seen in my life. Like you could tell this couple's getting divorced.
Yeah.
They don't share any sort of commonality. They don't share any sort of sweet, tender moment. It's just him telling her what to do and then getting mad if she doesn't do it. And then him getting mad at her. He's not a horrible dick like the one in Living Doll. That's another episode this season that's not terrible.
I like that one.
Yeah. So we got 3. But it seems like he's in control here. He doesn't seem like the pants wearer, but he also seems like he has no other personality other than telling her what to do about her grandpa.
It's seriously a coin toss as to which one's going to cheat on the other one with the milkman. Like, either one of them.
Yeah. This couple's not going to last. That's all I'm going to say. Him or not, the grandpa dead or not, they're not going to last. This kid's fucked. This kid is not going to make it. And everyone in this family is obsessed with this clock. And apparently it extends beyond the family because the clock is downstairs at this point because the movie guys, the young kids, moved it downstairs. And then he comes downstairs with it when her friend, the great actress, is over. She's fucking terrible. And she's like, I love antiques. These are great. And he comes downstairs and he's like, oh, I've been looking for someone to tape my clock. You want to tape my clock deep inside your home? And she's like,
you want it, don't you, you filthy whore?
I would love to have this clock, mister. I'm an actress. I was like, who is she fucking blowing to be on this show? Because she is terrible.
She's blowing that guy from Manos Hands of Fate. The one with the fucking
Torgo.
He's blowing Torgo.
Or she's blowing the clock. I don't know what the fuck she's doing.
She's definitely taking the clock.
It must have been Ed Wynn's actual granddaughter. That's the only thing I could think of that would make sense. That's all I got. Because she was terrible. Then she's like, I'll take it next door. My husband will never thinks I'm a thrifty shopper. And he agrees that you can take it as long as I can come over every 2 days and fix it. And I'm like, I don't want an old dude in my house every other day just popping in to fix my clock. That's fucking weird.
And, I don't want to do like I usually do with these where I'm like, it would have been better if we'd have went this way. Because this, like I said, it just feels like stoners hit the bong, wrote this shit down on a fucking cocktail napkin, put it next to the bed, sobered up the next day, looked at that and says, holy shit, I need to lay off this shit. That's fucking dumb. Threw it in the garbage and forgot about it. That's what should have happened.
Yeah.
But alas, that's not what happened. This whole season's probably ideas that wound up in Rod Serling's circular file because he just didn't give a fuck anymore, like you said.
This was to paint a fair picture of how this episode worked out is George Clayton Johnson wrote the original episode. Some guys went over and redid the episode, rewrote it. And George Clayton Johnson, understandably, was so fucking irate what he saw that he vowed off from the Twilight Zone for the rest of his life and never wrote another Twilight Zone episode again.
Off this episode?
Because of what they did for this episode.
Holy shit.
Like, no more. Okay, bye. And he's a good writer. But so he's just like, I'm fucking in with you guys. And I'm like, I kind of get it now. Because I read that before I watched the episode. And I was like, okay, I understand.
I'm glad you told me that. Because I didn't think this would have been the one. I would have thought maybe the fucking one about the Custer's military, the 7th is full of phantoms would have been the one. But maybe that's the one that started. Maybe that was the catalyst. And this was the last straw.
Well, the 7th Band of Phantoms was Rod Serling. He wrote that one. This is George Clinton Johnson.
He says he wrote it. It's like I said, maybe jotted it down on a napkin and handed it to somebody.
It feels like every episode this season so far, all but 3 that we mentioned, are like, here's an idea. I wrote it down. Send it out to LA. You guys do the second draft, third draft, fourth draft, whatever you got to do. You work on it. This is Rod speaking. Go ahead and work on it. I'm going to go ahead and teach my class, and you guys have fun with that. Make it good. Anyway, I'm teaching my class, and they're over in LA going, first draft. Okay, good enough. Shoot it. And they didn't work on the scripts at all. Like, it's just whatever he wrote was fine. Because other than the fact that it's a grandfather and a grandfather clock, it's stupid that it's a clock. Other than the fact that it has the word grandfather in it, both of these names. What the fuck? Why is it still a clock?
You know what it's like, Phoenix? It's like Disney's Lucasfilm can't crack the code to George Lucas. You know, like they can't figure out where those stories came from, which is why you have these questionable movies and TV shows. They can't understand. They don't understand how it works. They have the tools, but they don't understand where the ideas come from. So what they regurgitate back out is their interpretation of what they think they've been seeing. And that's where we're at with this. It's like the copy of the copy of the copy syndrome, you know?
It makes sense because this season would be the prequels, if we're talking about Star Wars, where it's like the creator doing a poor imitation because he doesn't understand the originals.
Right, because when one becomes a parody of themselves because they've forgotten where their inspiration came from. Yeah,
forgot the entire meaning of the original project.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, "Oh, it's midichlorians." Everyone's like, "Why?" He's like, "Because I thought of it." You're like, that ruins everything special about being a Jedi. He's like, "But I thought of it."
What is it entertaining about a grandfather and a grandfather clock? I mean, I thought that was pretty fucking clever. Fuck's your problem, huh? Right?
I want to see Rod Serling talking like that.
Hitting the bong, you know, it's like, what's the grandfather clock, bro?
No. Don't hang up, CBS. Hold on. I told you he's a grandfather, right? Well, the clock.
Well, the grandfather clock, get it? He's got the grandfather clock, bro.
These college students have been hanging out with her fucking wild, man. Anyway, I'll hit you back up next Tuesday. Go ahead and rewrite that anyway.
And the grandfather clock, it just kind of goes bong, bong. Get it?
Pipe,
you get it?
Bong, reaper.
Bong.
I'll call you next Tuesday, all right? Serling out.
I'm amazing.
All you heard the whole time is, if you'd like to make a call, please. He's so
wait, I got to write this down. Hold on. Phone
man makes a phone call, and he talks to the recording saying there's no one there.
You wait. That's going to be like an episode towards the end of this season. We're going to be reviewing it like, remember we were joking about that? No, he wrote that shit down. Yeah.
No, I know what the next couple episodes are.
Okay, good. I kind of don't remember. And I
kind of girl we have next.
I purposely don't look ahead any farther past what you tell me to look at.
I don't look what they're about, but if I recognize the name, I know. The next one's You Drive, which is about a car that haunts a man after he hits someone with his car. And then it's The Long Morrow, which is actually a good episode. So in a couple weeks, in a few weeks, we got a good episode coming up.
Okay, I believe you.
And then I really hope Frank's on time for Black Leather Jackets down the road, 518, because he keeps telling me it's great, and I'm like, that episode sucks. 522 is an occurrence at Owl Creek Bridge, which is not even a Twilight Zone episode. It's just a short film from France that they bought and threw on the air, which is really good, actually.
If you guys want to contact Frank, you can call him at 1-900-I-SUCK-GRANDFATHER-CLOCKS.
He will answer, and he will go, bong,
bong,
dong, all in my mouth. He'll answer. It's gonna be real weird though. And your phone's gonna be like, that's too many numbers. Keep trying.
Yeah,
that's my advice.
Trying. One of them will go through. Yeah.
Did you find the music in this episode to be the most infuriating thing you've ever heard in your life?
Overly cartoonish.
It is obnoxious.
It was like I was watching Uncle Remus and the Song of the South. That's what it felt like.
Song of the South, which if you have Disney Plus, good luck finding that. They hid that deep in the vault.
It's there.
My girlfriend about that. And I'm like,
it's heavily edited. I think they got it edited down to about 2 minutes, but it's there just so that they can
45.
Just so that they can say it's there. Yeah, that's a very not aged well.
They showed the crows and they're like, what? And they cut. That's all they show for the crows. Oh, get rid of them. They sound so awful nowadays. Even
Are those
back
the
in
same
day.
crows from the Dumbo? Did they cut those out? Because I know they cut
It is.
those fuckers out. It's the same
Yeah, they're-
crows, right?
They're
Yeah.
fucking like slave era black.
It's
They're fucking terrible.
It's the Jim Crow crows of the Jim
Yeah.
Crow era. Yeah.
They might as well call it. It is so racist that even Disney, which is real racist, went, no, we can't do that. So it's that racist. It is fucking insane.
I remember seeing that show when I was a kid and just finding it so terribly not funny. Like I didn't get the joke. You know, I grew up in Chicago, man, so I didn't get the fucking jokes. I was like, this is really old and not funny and not interesting.
Well, it's along the lines of Hee Haw. Watching, you're like,
Yeah. Yeah, you know, if you're not, unless you're really into, you know, Conway Twitty, you're not going to get into it, you know. So
I watched it. I remember watching Hee Haw, and I'm like, oh, it's comedy. Oh,
these are the jokes because I hear the people laughing in the background.
I thought it was an experiment to see how much you can embarrass an actor. That's what it felt like to me. Like how much? Let's have him do this little skit. Oh my god, he's doing it. He's doing it. Oh my god. It's like a hidden camera show, but the camera's not hidden from the actor. But it's like, and he's like, oh, we're down there, and I'm like, what is the fucking joke here?
Everybody has black tooth, yeah, because black tooth is not
giant
racist.
reed sticking out and suspenders galore,
hayseed and shit, yeah.
And was a fatty? Oh, what's his name? What's the guy from that show? The big fat dude.
I don't remember. Uncle Remus, Jim Crow.
No, sounds like it.
Remus Crow. Yeah.
No, but I found the music to be like really droning. It was like,
it was overpowering and, you know, just a little bit too comical. Like it was almost like replacing the fact that there's no story here. It's like, well, here's the overly dramatic cartoon music in the background. It's like
there's a point where he comes downstairs to talk to the daughter, and it was like, and I'm like, I can't fucking hear the actress. The music is way too loud. It cuts out too late. It fades out. Too
doesn't
late
fit the scene. It doesn't fit the scene. It almost be like you know a middle-aged woman that's pregnant going to the refrigerator at night, and like Shaft music is playing in the background, like the Shaft theme. Like, whose private dick's a sex machine? And she's like fucking eating cake. You know, it's like
who's getting some dries out of the freezer? Yeah,
you see that? Shaft's a bad mother. Shut your mouth.
Shaft's not going to be a good father. Oh, shut your mouth. That's Shaft's baby. She better get rid of that.
Complicated man. Nobody understands him but his woman.
And there's her doctor with some, little secrets there. He's going to put a little vacuum up there and then get rid of her. Yeah. Shaft is a big fan of abortion. He's pro-choice. So that is the end of the episode. No.
You wish. You wish.
I fucking wish.
Go ahead.
So the neighbor has the clock. She has this big clock in her hands. And then she's like, his granddaughter is like, she's on vacation. She's gone all weekend. He's like, but I'm gonna die if it's turned on. I gotta wind my clock in her. I gotta play with my clock in her hallway. And then I was like, this motherfucker better break into the house. I pictured him like diving through the front window, like, ah!
Pull a fucking mod squad. Yeah, just dive through the fucking sugar glass. Yeah.
And something like that. But instead he like Pink Panther theme song. He's just doing the thing.
I'm actually surprised they didn't do that. Like play the little Peter Gunn theme while he's walking to the window.
Yeah, something. They play it's silence.
Yeah.
Actor walking across down the sidewalk. Walks up to the front door.
The most boring thing you can witness.
Hey, you stop right there. Well, I'm trying to get in the house to play with my clock in the hallway. You don't play with your clock in strangers' houses. I don't like that around here. I want to play with my clock in front of all of you. What's the big deal? You don't do that. I'm Officer Actortron. The guy was so wooden. You don't go there, you.
I'm Officer Big Player.
Yeah. Lucky you're not a minority in this neighborhood. Good God. This cop would fuck him right up. But he did. grabs
He
the
was
older
just, that's
man by
that's
the
what he
arm.
was really there for. He was sitting there waiting for minorities to show.
He's out there for a slightly darker than Irish tan check.
He was waiting for
He
the
has like
Jim Crows to show up.
He
Yeah.
has a heel wheel, like he's gonna paint a house, and he's like, "He matched." Oh God, get him! He's just in the shadows.
He was just sitting there waiting for the Jim Crows to show up so he could arrest them all and
Oh,
take
I
them in
never
the,
masked. Like
put him in the back of the car and take him to jail. Yeah.
they're not gonna arrest him. What are you fucking crazy? In this neighborhood, they're gonna disappear. It's gonna be like a hot fuzz. They're gonna disappear somewhere. But he goes. The cop gets him, drags the old man away. And the old man's like, I gotta get in there and play with my clock in front of their kids. And he's like, dude, no, you can't do that. We gotta go. I gotta take you away. Drags him home. And I'm like, if I'm Ed Wynn, I go, okay, officer, sorry. Oh, the officer's gone. All right, back over there. Like, try again. If you really think this fucking thing's gonna kill you if it stops, go back again. That's it. End of debate. What is the fucking mystery here? But no, he just goes back home. And goes upstairs.
Well, didn't he actually take the toolbox or some kind of a box of something and try to shove it through the glass? Because I remember there was broken glass.
Yeah, he shoved it. He broke the fucking window in, but just the top part.
Yeah.
And then he
didn't think it through. Yeah.
No, he didn't. He's terrible at this. He had 76 years on this planet to really debate how to manage this clock. Turns out the best plan would have been manage your money. And therefore, when you're old and decrepit, you don't have to worry about living with your granddaughter who's got a real clock-hitting husband and therefore kicks the clock out of the house. Literally, this episode's about a clock being evicted from a home. And
yeah,
that.
I don't know exactly what the over and under for a clockmaker was back in the 50s or 60s. I can't imagine it was very high. It was very profitable.
I think it would be high and profitable in like 1930. You make
maybe
a lot of money.
in Switzerland,
and
yeah.
those little pocket watches and shit like that when it was actually intricate.
That's the other thing, dude. He actually has a fucking pocket watch.
Yeah,
but he's still staring at that fucking grandfather clock. And I'm like,
and
okay,
I thought
well,
he was going to turn over to that.
Yeah,
but it didn't. It didn't matter at all. It never came into play. No. It's on IMDb. One of the first pictures is that little pocket watch, and I'm like, okay, it's going to switch over.
Has no purpose in this episode whatsoever.
It doesn't come into play.
He looks at the pocket watch so that he can see if the grandfather clock has the right time or not. Which, again, one would argue that gives him some sense of a purpose. Clock don't work right. He is going to be there to make sure that fucker is on time, unlike somebody else that we know tonight.
Yeah. He fails at his break-in attempt. The cop takes him home, goes upstairs, goes to bed. This is where it gets real fucking trippy and metaphysical. Because he goes to bed in the middle of the night. We assume that the clock turned off because his spirit version gets up and goes around to the foot of the bed and then just talks to himself. And he's like, hey, you, wake the fuck up. I'm going to play with your clock while you're sleeping like a joystick. And he wakes himself up and he's like, who are you? I never met you. Because that's the first thing. The exact same thing happens in One for the Angels, his first episode, where he's in his apartment after Mr. Death shows up. Mr. Death just randomly appears in his apartment building, in his apartment, and he's just like, hello, Mr. blah, 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 whatever his name is. And he's like, hey, you want to buy a toy? And I'm like,
is that the one where Death is played by, he's played by the mayor from Jaws, that fucking guy? Is that the one you're talking about?
I know him as the guy from Seconds, a John Frankenheimer movie. But if you want to go there, you go right ahead.
To me, he's Mayor Larry Vaughn, but okay, gotcha.
I don't know anything about Jaws. So.
Sorry.
All I know is Seconds. That's all you need to know. That's all you need. But anyway, so he wakes himself up and he's like, "Oh, I'm your spirit," and he's like, okay, well, I don't want to die. So I don't believe in this hibbity jibbity, and fuck off, you, basically."
It almost reminds me of one of those like instructional videos from the 50s. It's like, I'm your spirit. I'm going to show you how to paint a fucking, how to paint a lawnmower or something. I don't know. Just waiting for some like ridiculous instructional thing to start happening. I'm going to teach you manners.
He's coily.
Yeah.
Or he's Benjamin Franklin going to tell you how to save a dime.
Oh gosh, really? It's Measuring Man. Yeah, It's...
or whatever Coily says. I forget. Yeah, it did seem like that, but instead
it felt the dialogue was starting to border on cartoonish, like those two guys talking to each other. I was like, is this going to get funny now? Am I going to laugh?
No, you're not, Adam. And shame on you for thinking that. I really feel bad that you felt that way because it's sure shit not going to come true.
No.
Because instead what happens is, oh, Adam, do you remember that premise they've been setting up for 20 minutes about the clock dying and therefore he dies? Remember that? Oh, he just goes, oh, I don't believe in that anymore. So then it's not true anymore. Because
20 minutes is set up for, I don't need that shit no more. Whatever.
All because he failed. So immediately he goes, oh, the clock stopped. I don't believe in that shit. Okay, bye. And the spirit goes, all right, bye. I'll fuck a ghost clock somewhere. So it either A, his spirit went back in his body, which we didn't see, or B, his spirit fucked off. And this is a spiritless man, a fucking empty vessel of a human sitting here. And now that his spirit has left him, he's like, I want to be with my grandchild and raise him and graduate with him. And I'm like, so is his spirit gone or?
I have a theory. The spirit left his body, went next door to bang the clock for fucking eternity. Just banging that fucking clock away. Yeah.
The ghost of the clock could go outside now.
Yes. Like, he can have something even more kinky. He can have an outer body experience, Phoenix. He can go out, go to the neighbor's house and bang the shit out of that clock all night long without his annoying granddaughter and asshole husband telling him that he can't do it anymore.
Yeah. It's fucking stupid because he just gives up on the entire premise of the episode by going, I don't believe in that anyway.
Because I'm pretty sure that son-in-law or grandson-in-law or whatever the fuck you want to call him is probably going to find something different to hate about that old guy the next day. Like, why do you eat bran flakes or, not put sugar on your cornflakes, you old fuck? I mean, he's going to kill him in his sleep. Yes, it's going to happen.
Yeah, he's going to do something. This guy's a younger version of the guy from Devil Doll or Living Doll, whatever it's called.
They're probably related.
I think it's the same guy, just 20 years earlier.
Yeah.
It's. I picture. He argues with his spirit, and he's just like, I don't believe in this anymore. This hibbity jibbity. I'm gonna go ahead and live forever, and I'm just gonna stay here. And I picture the husband being like, shut the fuck up, Grandpa. Just die already, you son of a bitch. Because he's screaming at himself. Instead, the wife comes in. She's like, Grandpa, are you all right? I thought you were having a massive coronary in here. He's like, no, let's go downstairs. I'll get you some milk or what? Hot chocolate.
That's the other thing. It's like because of reasons of TV show needing to happen, she comes in at the end of that conversation. But I would think that she would come in the middle of that conversation into that room because clearly the old guy is talking loud because he was acting in the days where they didn't have microphones and they were probably on live audiences in front of people where they had to talk really loud because the microphones were not so good back then. So
no, he was a radio star actually. Edwin.
Oh, okay, that explains it. So yeah, their voice was everything. So everything had to be dictated really loud so that everybody can hear my over-exaggerated vocals in these lines.
To the back of throw. Yeah, that sort of thing.
The shadow always knows.
She should have showed up when he was arguing, but instead she waits. It's a weird jump cut in time where he's yelling and he fucks off. The spirit one goes bye-bye, and then he's like lays down like and goes to sleep, and then she walks in like an hour, 12 minutes, 6 seconds, who knows how long later. Enough time for his arms to be down by his side.
The only good line he had during that argument when he was saying, no, don't give me that Spirit of 76 nonsense. And all it did was remind me of that Ween song, Spirit of 76, which made me go, oh, yeah, I remember that song. That was really about as far as I went with that, though. It's like the whole thing was leading up to, don't give me that Spirit of 76 nonsense. I guess that was supposed to be funny, but maybe that was just me.
I guess the episode was supposed to be funny.
It's not funny.
Here's what we're left with. It's not a comedy.
Nope.
It's not a drama.
Nope.
It's not a morality tale.
Nope.
It's kind of about not wasting your life on focusing on death.
I
Is
guess.
the only thing I would give it. But it has no payoff. It has no redeeming qualities. It has no fun characters. It has nothing saving it at the end. So in the end, you're just kind of like, oh, that was a waste of time.
That's a good point. For those listening, we're on YouTube, and Manliest Motivation says, like the writers for this episode? Yes, like the writers for this episode. Absolutely.
I don't know what that's referring to.
I think he was talking about somebody else that when we were complaining, he was talking about the writers of this episode. Obviously, Manliest Motivation didn't like this episode either, because he shouldn't.
It sucks. It sucks. It's a shitty episode.
It
went in the tier 3 bucket for me.
Yeah, I think score. I think I'd go with 3. I guess. I don't know. I think I'm. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't go 3. Yeah, I'll give him 3. It's not the old guy's fault that this episode sucks. Although there is some really bad acting in this episode. And Rod Serling, fuck you. Why do you have to keep telling us what the episode is about before we watch it? Why don't you let the audience figure it out, since you have literally nothing else to give us? Why don't you let the episode unfold for itself and let the audience figure it out? Because clearly there's nothing else for the audience left to do after you set it up.
Yeah.
Except sit there and fall asleep or be pissed off or walk away with blue balls because it sucks so much.
Let's hear Rod's outro.
God creates time.
Oh, too far.
Man can converse. Clocks are made.
Seriously?
How do you know that?
Here we go.
Don't ask me how I know, but I know. And a strange thing happened, Monty.
Shut the
When
fuck
that
up.
clock died, I was born again.
Here we go.
Clocks are made by men. God creates time. No man can prolong his allotted hours. He can only live them to the fullest, in this world or in the Twilight Zone.
So the first time you saw this, did you think that the old guy was going to fall down the stairs? Because that would have been funny, like unintentionally, like funny. I would have laughed.
Well, just like Living Doll.
Yeah, because he stops on the stairs like 2 or 3 times. I'm like, he's going to fall. He's going to fall. Oh, he didn't fall. Yeah. Wow.
Your mistake was expecting something to happen in this episode.
That's the thing. It's a series of expectations with no payoffs. The whole fucking thing from start to finish.
Shame on you.
I wanted that old guy to die, and he didn't.
Well, Ed Wynn died 3 years later.
Okay.
I don't hold anything ill against Ed Wynn. The guy's great.
No, but his character was shit in this episode.
It's not his fault, but
no.
I mean, it's the guy has nothing to fucking do in this episode. He talked to a clock,
Nope.
he sang a fucking song to a clock, and he polished a clock and he wound a clock, and then he took a clock next door and tried to break into a house for a clock. The man is clock obsessed. He's got a clock addiction. The guy's gonna go into clockahol. He's addicted to clockahol. He's gonna go into Clockaholics Anonymous, and the guy's got fucking problems.
It reminds me of those old TV shows where they would have like an actor or an actress on there, and then the whole episode is just about, wow, this person's in our house, or wow, this person's in our episode.
Brady Bunch.
Yeah, All in the Family. Pick one. Every fucking one of them.
Yeah.
Scooby Doo. Hey, the Harlem Globetrotters are here. Whoa.
American Dad just had a recent episode where The Weeknd shows up, but they're making fun of those episodes, and that's fun. This episode, not so much. Although, we will compare it to our next episode, Ring-a-Ding Girl, episode 513. Adam, I think we're done here, right? Anything else?
Yeah. Let's take it home, man.
Any other did you learn anything from this episode? I sure shit didn't. Don't get the clocks, I guess is the point. Is the morality.
I don't want to say this because I've said this before. Yeah, first of all, grandfather clocks suck, and no matter how clever you think you are, grandfathers winding grandfather clocks thinking they're going to die is only cool when you're like fucking high as fuck. All right. It doesn't make an interesting episode for anybody that's not high as fuck to watch. So fuck off. That's my message.
Okay. I don't know if I've ever seen a grandfather clock in person. I'm sure I did. but I don't remember seeing one.
Ironically, Phoenix, my grandfather had a grandfather clock in his house. So I did, right? Like, bro, yeah, he did.
Hold on,
He
hold
had
on,
one
hold
in
on.
his house.
Hold on. Your what had a what?
My grandfather had a grandfather clock. He totally had one, dude. Totally. It would make a great Twilight Zone.
Had a cousin clock. Wait, that doesn't work. You're funnier.
Yeah, bro. I'm a legend.
World's gonna see what I do. I want to read George Clayton Johnson's original draft of this script and see what it was. Hold on. Do you want to fill a few seconds? Do your plugs. I'm gonna go grab the book.
Absolutely. So you guys can find me at RaidersOfLostFlix.com. That's www.RaidersOfLostFlix.com. I review bad movies, pop culture, and news. On Twitter, you can find me at Raiders_OTLF.
Keep going.
Okay.
It's gonna take me a second.
This week, well, this episode, obviously we're doing, but then this weekend we're doing Troll 2. So you want to show up for that on my YouTube channel, Raiders Lost Flicks, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Every Friday we watch a movie together on YouTube, and then we let you vote for a score, and then we also give it a score. Troll 2 is one that's been requested for quite some time, so we're looking forward to it. Very excited.
And since I haven't found it yet, I guess I'll go LIWstudios.com. Check out the shows. Check out the podcast. Loitering in Wonderland Studios on YouTube. Patreon.com/Loitering in Wonderland Studios. And Nyquil and Cocaine. Adam was just on, graciously playing the Ice Cream Man. Why can't I find this fucking episode?
Maybe it's been omitted.
I wouldn't blame him.
I have a feeling that whatever you find, like Hollywood could make an entire movie out of that based on what we saw in this episode. Not much.
I'm really struggling to find the page. I'm almost there. It's not in order. For some reason, Mark Scott Zickery didn't do the episodes in airing order, like how we do the show.
Did he do it in order of when he wrote them?
I think he did it in order of how they air. No, how they were recorded.
Oh yeah, which nobody would know. Yeah,
but why? Fuck, do you care how they recorded them?
Remember when that show Firefly came out and they showed them all out of order so that nothing made any sense? Then when they released it on DVD and Blu-ray, they put them all in order.
No.
Okay.
I just got one of my friends bought me Firefly, the entire series, which is
it's pretty good.
Dude, I have been front and back to this season. Okay. Seventh Man of Phantoms we did last week. Old Man in the Cave we did a while ago. Self-Improvement is a couple episodes from now. Short Drink was last week. The Masks is way down the line. Spur of the Moment. Steel. Night Call. A redo episode. Nightmare 20,000 Feet. Oh, I forgot about that one. That was a good episode. Right?
Yeah, that was a good episode.
Night of a Jockey. Living Doll. Sounds and Silences. What's this one? Ring a Ding Girl. It's next. You Drive. Black Leather Jackets. Bewitching Pool, which is the last episode.
Nightmare 20,000 was the season 5 episode?
You've only done season 5 with us.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't realize that was a season 5. I always thought that was an earlier one.
Night, Pro 7, Jeopardy Room, Mr. Garrity. I'm going insane right now, by the way. Caesar and Me. Where the fuck is this? From Agnes. What's in the Box? The Encounter.
What's in the box?
From Wander. An Occurrence. After Twilight Zone. Okay, it's not in the book. I've officially given up. I don't want to keep looking. If it's in there, good fucking God. He hit it like your memory box or your secret box in Inception. We're not meant to be in that fucking chapter. We're not meant to read about the episode. Fuck it, I'm done.
Yeah. There's going to be a whole Geraldo Rivera episode about finding it.
Yeah, and it's going to be like Al Capone's vault where you're going to find out there's fucking nothing in there. Yeah. That was real exciting TV to watch back in the day. Thanks. Now you're a fucking political right-winger and you're insane.
You know what? It paved the way for all the reality bullshit shows that we watch. You ever seen any of those Ghost Hunter episodes? They're just as bad, if not worse. Did you see that? Holy shit, it was right behind me just a second ago. Whoa!
Hold on, the audience can't tell temperature if we say it's cold. Oh, it's cold! Fuck you, Zach. Zach Baggins of douche. You Baggins of douche.
I can't do that shit, man. I just
Zach
can't.
Baggins of dicks. That's like his English name. He's from Dick's.
The only one of those I ever watched is he went to the Rialto, and the only reason I watched that one is because I'd been to the Rialto in Chicago many, many times because it's right down the street from where I lived. I've been to the Rialto. It was such bullshit. I was like, fuck this. Even though I've been to the landmark that is supposedly haunted, I couldn't buy into any of it, man.
If you believe in ghosts and you're an adult, you should become a ghost.
And then go bang a grandfather clock.
Kill yourself. Honestly. Fuck it. If you believe in ghosts and you're an adult, you have some fucking problems. It's like people believe in zodiac signs. Go fucking. What the fuck is wrong with you? Here's a fun little thing to do. Last thing I'm gonna say, then we'll get out of here. Sorry, I know we're almost at an hour, so we're not over the time or anything. But let me just say this: if you meet someone who's super in the signs, go along with whatever they say. So if they're like, "What sign are you?" and you say, you just get. What I like to do is two things. Either one is say a sign that's not your sign, and they go, "Oh, that explains it." No matter what you say, they're gonna say that explains it. Or B, I go, guess. And they go, Sagittarius.
I was just going to guess that.
You must be this. And I'm like, oh, that's great. I'm not a Sagittarius. They're like,
so fuck you.
Because it doesn't fucking matter. No. I did a whole episode of Americant about how stupid fucking horoscopes are. Because over time, the Earth has a tilt in its axis, so it's throwing the whole fucking thing off. So it doesn't matter. I'm a Gemini, and I should be something else because the Earth has a tilt, and it throws their whole fucking thing off because their calendar doesn't account for that. So if you do look at the math of the whole thing, it's complete bullshit. It makes no sense. I hate it.
Don't we have enough dumb things to separate us as a species? We don't need to throw fucking horoscopes in there as well. I'm with you on that one.
I get like red hot mad if you can't tell about horoscope.
Okay, good. I'll just let that go.
It drives me insane.
The only time that's fun is when you're in a Chinese restaurant waiting to get your food, and there's a fucking piece of paper in front of you that has the Chinese calendar on there, and you read those and you go, kind of like when you read a fortune cookie. Other than that, that's as far as it goes with me.
A fortune cookie that was invented in San Francisco, not in the ancient Chinese, not in like ancient China. It's San Francisco made, and it's brand new. It's like a Ouija board. It's fucking Parker Brothers. Or
and
whatever.
You open it up and it says, "Fuck you, find a better fortune."
Or it just says like you will get diarrhea from this meal, and you're like, "Oh, it's true." Yeah, but
that was not chicken in the chicken chow mein.
Yeah, there's feathers in your meal. Oh, it's obviously if you believe in fortunes or prediction of the future, don't listen to my show. Don't.
It's almost as bad as like watching an episode of season 5 and expecting anything at all.
Yeah.
I really need to. I need to lower my expectations, man. That's my biggest problem I'm having with this. Is I keep expecting things to happen, and then they don't happen, and then I'm disappointed.
Well, here's a good time to bring this up. Okay, this will be the last thing we talk about, and then we're out of here. I feel bad for you because seasons 1 through 3 have so many good episodes. So many good episodes. Season 4 even has some really, really good episodes, like 4 or 5 of them, maybe 6. But this season so far, I think we added 20,000 feet, so 4 to 5 episodes that I like. Out of 12, out of 13, counting next episode, to spoil how I feel about next episode.
It's okay, man. I'm conditioned for this. You really picked the right guy for the job because I'm the guy that like pays to rent cats to watch it like voluntarily.
You go down to PetSmart and you rent cats? That's fucking weird.
The fucking movie Cats, the Andrew Lloyd Webber musical that came out in November that nobody went to go see.
The Butthole Cut.
The Butthole Cut. And then I saw Black Christmas 2019, and I don't think anything could possibly be any worse after that. That's like my new litmus test for how worse a movie can be.
Yeah. I just feel bad because you missed all the good episodes. So the point of us having Redux episodes is we get to watch some of the good ones and talk about them again. So Frank mentioned who's not here. He's a fucking dildo. So let's talk about some of the Redux episodes down the line, and I agree with him. But I want to finish season 5, so we're fucking done.
Yep.
Because we have season 2 of the 2019 show coming out here in June 25th. So a little over a month from today. We'll have those coming out.
So what bullshit streaming service do I have to subscribe to watch that?
Well, yeah, Adam, thank you for bringing it up. Go ahead and subscribe to CBS All Access, the show that brings you the streaming service that brings you such quality programs as Star Trek Discovery,
Picard,
and The Twilight Zone 2019 from Jordan Peele, who doesn't understand The Twilight Zone, even though he's smart enough and he's good enough of a filmmaker to understand The Twilight Zone. So good fucking Lord, who knows why he doesn't understand how to make a Twilight Zone episode.
But Phoenix, it's all about the message. You have to understand, it's not about the story. It's not about provoking your mind. It's about the message that we're trying to deliver to the people.
It's about provoking your Twitter feed.
Yeah, that's
why
it.
I call it the Twitter Zone.
Yeah, that's a good. That's good.
I call it that since like episode 3 or 4, whenever the fuck I realized, oh, this is what's going on.
Oh God, I'll have to do all kinds of backtracking and watch the first season, right? Or no, they're not. They're not really in order, so I don't need to watch the.
They're
first
not in order,
season.
but here's the thing: if you want to catch up, I have a few I have to do for Redux because it's just been on like 4 episodes or 5 episodes. So if you want to do an episode, let me know.
Okie dokie.
Because I want to rewatch them anyway, just to catch up for season 2. I've only watched them once because there's a few episodes. The first 2 are solid. And then after that, it gets a little sketchy. There's a few good ones after that, but there are a few that I fucking despise.
It can't be any worse than, Black Christmas or any of those episodes of Tales from the Crypt that we sat through. We'll see.
Adam?
I've seen a lot of bad shit is what I'm getting at.
It's worse.
Yeah.
Because you realize, oh, this episode could go another way. Oh, it's Twitter. You're a man, and you should feel bad for being that.
And if you're a white man, fuck you.
The police are bad. They will shoot the black people. And then the whole twist is the black people record the police, and the cops go, okay, we'll go away. Bye-bye. And you're like, that was just Twitter.
If you are a heterosexual white male, you are the problem, and you should probably kill yourself. That's the message.
So that way you're out of that box.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, it's easier.
You could just easily suck a dick or bang a grandfather
clock. Get out of that box.
Yeah.
Get out. Anyway, until next time, in the meantime, I'm Phoenix West.
And I'm Adam Wilcox.
So long, citizens.
Bye.
So long, Edwin. All right, so let's take a short break here, and we'll be back for Ring a Ding Girl.
I'm going to put the little Arnold up so I know where to cut this fucker.
Yeah.